Hey, Ag Teacher Thoughts here. Our wheat treatment is bubbling away, and I am in the shop because we have one of our next stages of our ethanol production actually underway right now. So I've got my safety glasses on because we are in a lab space and we do have a lab running right now. It's actually running behind my shoulder over there in the corner, and as I came into the room, it smells a lot like baking bread. I mean, like grandma's in the kitchen making a whole bunch of dinner rolls. It has a very yeasty and almost a little slight hint of orange here. Because right now what we're doing is we are actually running our still. And over here in the corner, our still is bubbling away. We have some temperatures that we're taking in various points of our still up there, so we know what temperatures, and yes, that is all in Celsius. We know what temperatures our system is running at because temperature is everything when you're distilling. And yes, we are distilling. So this is our sugar treatment. So this was the one that was lighter, kind of light yellow in color. It is running right now, and we are producing ethanol. So it's kind of slowed down a little bit. You can kind of see some of that dripping down there. So this is our sugar treatment of ethanol, currently distilling. And with this one, it's still early on. There's just a little bit that has started to gather there in the bottom. Right now, it is an ethanol distillation, but the head is actually distilling right now. So that I don't know if the sugar treatment has it, but I know the wheat one would have methanol, which is your toxic part of your alcohols. It's your toxic alcohol. And in fact, that toxicity of that methanol is something we take advantage of later. After this is done distilling, we're going to go through and we have to measure and weigh it so that we know how much is there, so that we get the appropriate amount of denaturing done. So we actually do add the methanol into it to make it toxic. So no drinking of this stuff. This is all lab grade ethanol. It's going to be a pretty high percentage because we're going to try to run those engines off of it. It's not quite ready to go in the engine. We do have to put the other cap on this still, and then we will redistill it to make it even a higher percentage. So I think we have to get to 98% or 98.5. I think we can just about get there. We may use some clay sieves if we have to dry it further. But I don't know. I don't know what proof it is yet. But we do have our hydrometer here so that we can test that later on. But this would be, sorry, I'm kind of whipping the phone around there. This would be our ethanol distillation with the sugar. So with this, with the amount of fluid that we had in there, the number of liters that we had in our system, I'm backing up because the chiller unit is running. Here, I'll give you a chance to see in here. There is our ethylene glycol tank. So that is a frigid tank there. It chills our still, runs up to the top. That is our coolant for our still. So that it is running right now. That's why that has gotten a little bit noisy. But anyway, back to the volume. So with our carboys here, when you calculate everything out by the percentage yield that we're expecting, which is about 11% ethanol, and the volume, which I believe was 19 liters, we should theoretically, if the math works out, have 2.09 liters of ethanol as a finished product for our volume before we add the methanol. So we're going to add our methanol to that. So our finished product, if everything is perfect, is going to be just a little bit over 2 liters. So the other thing here is we do have our next treatment set up. So this is all distilled water. We use our still to go ahead and distill our water too, so that we have a pure water source. There's no microbial activity in here. This is a pure water, nothing's going to grow in it. And then we will add our treatment to it actually next week and allow that to begin the fermentation process. And this is what I showed you earlier. We have put the heat jacket, took it off of our sugar treatment and put it onto our wheat treatment. And if we come in here, you can kind of see the bubbles coming up there. It has made this much more active. And this will most likely run over the weekend to try to finish out our wheat treatment. This is our one-way valve using distilled water. So as the carbon dioxide is generated down here in the carboy, it travels up and then it pushes, oh there, it just bubbled again. It pushes the gas out and then doesn't let any air back in, so we don't get any other bacteria or other wild yeast that we don't want in our system. So that is the wheat. This is going to be our potato. I shot a short about that earlier. And there is our sugar treatment currently running. And then we'll go over this way and we'll look at the setup for our potato starch. So this is our potato starch. Going to use Idahoan potato flakes, or as you can see, original mashed taters. And then we have our enzymes that'll help us turn that from a starch product into a sugar product. So all of our ingredients there. And then of course we have to add our fluids in, and we have to heat it up. And then it reacts for, I believe, 2 days before we put that into our carboy with the yeast culture to begin the fermentation process. So those of you that are wondering, no, I'm not a chemical expert. I introduced in a previous video Mr. McDowell, and he's our chemistry expert. He is a biochemist. So he is handling this chemistry portion of this, and then I'm handling the mechanical side of that. So I handle the engines and help do a bunch of the research to find different forms of ethanol production. So he's definitely the heavy lifter here as far as this portion of it, and then we'll take over in the machine shop with the engines and hopefully our renewable energy vehicles that we're building. So we'll see how that goes. But just wanted to give you an update so that you can see our process and where we're at, and get a chance to see a little bit more experiments in the lab. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you later. Ag Teacher Thoughts out.